This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so, Amen. Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the name who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and all glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rakak Radash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who grew well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And citation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai's sake. I'm Brother Samak from the GMS Miami camp. And yes, the reason why I brought out the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 7, is that the Spirit jumped on me to look up recent news articles pertaining to the chariots, which they call today so-called UFOs. So I just typed in Google UFO, pressed the news button, any articles that came out recently regarding this topic, and voila. This is from Fox. This came out yesterday, December 25th, 2025, on that pagan holiday. All right. And the title speaks for itself. UFO secret files, drone swarms, and nuclear-linked sightings stun experts in 2025. From underwater object clusters to police helicopter encounters, mysterious sightings grip the nation. That's right. Okay. And this is how our Lord and Savior is going to return. All right. In these chariots, in these so-called UFOs. All right. In fact, he's got the fathership, as we like to say. All right. Let's get second address. I'm gonna have to do it this way because there's something wrong with this King James Bible online. You type in address and it doesn't want to go to it. So I don't know if it's just the website itself or it's just Esau being doing his job, being the devil the Bible speaks of. All right. When I say Esau, Edom, I'm talking about the so-called white man, starting with the elites. All right. The ones that control the internet. All right. And that's how you know who the power of the earth was given to. All right. Those that can control the internet, that can shut the internet down, that can play around with the website. All right. That can shadow ban. Right. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, starting with the elites, where they want to call themselves American, British, French. Oh, them JJs, them 1948ers, them small hats, right? They're all Edomites at the end of the day. Okay. Now we quantify or we qualify. That's what I meant to say. We qualify that the Amalekites, the biblical Amalekites, are these JJs, these 1948ers, these small hats, okay? The funny hats with the funny nose, okay? The ones that control the banking system, okay? However, they all descend from the biblical Edomites, which are the so-called white people, okay? Because they're all so-called white at the end of the day. So just want to throw that out there for edification and to for truth's sake, all right, who are the biblical Edomites, as well as to you pseudo-Hebrew Israelites, all right, that are teaching that heathens can make it, all right. You're going to go down with the heathen, all right. You're going to go down with this devil because Yahweh Shai is not playing games. He's come with the angels, and he's going to light you clowns up too, along with this devil. Second Esdras, chapter 13, verse 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. 3. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with thousands of heaven. Right. What Esdras saw, this future prophecy, John the Revelator saw the same thing. Esdras said it was a man waxed strong with thousands of heavens. John the Revelator said, behold, he comes with clouds, plural. So he saw Yahushua and the angels coming to this earth to judge, okay? And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. Right, again, back to Revelation 1 and 7, right? Let's bring it out one more time. Hey, this is all spiritual. I was going to bring out another scripture, but hey, it's through the Spirit, you know. Revelation 1 through 7, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kings of the earth shall wail because of him, even so, amen. Right. So, let's go back. So notice it said, all things trembled that were seen on him. Why did they tremble? Well, let's go to the word wail. It's kopto, but okay. And that's why the apostle elders always say, get into words, so you get a better understanding what you're reading, okay? And this is a basic knowledge, you know. If you're reading a book or you're reading something and you don't know a word, you don't skip over it. You should look into it, right? So you get an understanding of what is being written by the author. In this case, by the prophets who are Israelites. Kopto. To cut, strike, smite. To cut off, right? This is why they trembled. Because they saw the Messiah and the angels, all right, killing a lot of people. I got to just be straight up with it. Destroying and killing, all right, millions and billions of people. That's why they trembled. Okay? Especially the military, all right? And the military and the elites that are, well, the hierarchy of the military, that's what I meant to say, and the elites that are in these bunkers, okay? Scared out of their damn minds. All right? And all kings of the earth shall wail because of him, even so, amen. Okay? 14. And whensoever the voice went out of the mouth, all they burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. Right, because Yahweh and the angels are shooting laser beams. All right? It said there was power in his hand. This is in the book of Habakkuk. All right? And brothers in GMS know where I'm going with this. All right? This is for those that are new and, new to this truth, or you need these scriptures to come out again to bring back to your remembrance. Okay? Habakkuk chapter 3. I love talking about Yahushai's return. I love talking about Yahushai and the so-called UFOs. All right? Which are the chariots. Because this is how you humble people down. All right? And it humbles me down too. Okay? Because this is true power right here. Okay? It humbles everyone down. This is real. This is power. Nothing Esau can come against this power right here. Habakkuk chapter 3. I'll start at 1. A prayer of Habakkuk, the prophet upon Shigionoth. Right. Habakkuk is an Israelite, okay, and a prophet. 2. O Yahweh, I have heard thy speech and was afraid. There you go. See, that's the spirit. When you read this, you get afraid, okay? You get humbled down. O Yahweh, revive thy work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make known in wrath, remember mercy. Right. All we want to get delivered from the Lord's wrath. We know it's coming. All right. We want mercy. All right. We want to get saved from the Lord's judgment. Okay. You know. That's why Apostle Gabar always says this over and over again. A lot of people that come into this truth, they don't even know why they're in this truth. Why are you in this truth? Okay. Why are you teaching the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai? Okay? Why are you going on the highways and byways? Okay? And bringing out the word or doing these videos? So that the Lord can show mercy to you. So that you can be saved. Okay? Delivered from the impending doom. From the nuclear blast and the Lord's wrath with which is, let me okay, restate this in a proper manner. Excuse me. The nuclear missiles, along with Yahushai and the angels' laser beams, are the Lord's wrath. Plain. And you want to be delivered from it, meaning the Lord, okay, has to show mercy to you. That's why you're pushing the word. You want to be delivered from this. In wrath, remember mercy. Okay? You got a lot of individuals out there that know that the Israelites high-minded, man. Really think they got it. Okay? And the Lord's revealing. That's why this is the year 20, what's coming up. Right? We're going into the year 2026, the year of apostasy, agents and sellouts, or sellouts and agents. I forgot the order Apostle Hart put it in. All right, but I know he mentioned those three. All right, that means those that are in the spirit of apostasy, meaning renouncing what they believed in. All right, defecting, because when you go into that word apostasy, the Greek word is, all right, defect or defection. In fact, I'll bring it out. Okay, lessons within lessons. All right, apostasy, meaning I've been constantly going into this word, repetition, just really meditating on this word, apostasy, the abandonment or renunciation of religious or political belief. Okay, and look what it's similar to: treachery, abandonment of belief, right? But in the Greek, it's defection. When you defect, all right, in the military, when you defect means you went AWOL, all right? You defected, all right, from your troop, your unit, all right? That's treason, okay? If you defect from your country, that's treason, okay? So defection, or the root word is to defect. There it is. Desertion of one's country or cause in favor of an opposing one. You see that? So you committed treason. Okay? Desertion. Decampment. Changing. Yup, changing. Betrayal. Disloyalty. Rebellion. Ooh. Rebellion. Okay? So that means you're at war with the Lord. All right? By changing the doctrine when we're so close to getting up out here. We got matter of months. Okay? Something's about to happen with this financial system in 2026. Did you not see silver and gold? Silver and gold prices is way too high. Something's about to crack. Okay? Something is about to happen with this economy, which is going to lead to the RFID chip, the mark of the beast. And you got a lot of individuals that know that they're Israelites, all right, defecting or defection or defect, all right, changing the doctrine, all right, in the spirit of apostasy, okay, to fill their own belly. And we know what it is. It's fiat currency. You sold out for greenbacks? That's nasty work. Just think about that. You sold out for a couple of bands, or a couple of, or maybe six figures, who knows? Because Esau's got to step up. Cost of living has gone up. Inflation is kicking in. So, you know, these individual jakes that are selling out, they got to be asking for at least six figures. And if you're not, you're a fucking idiot. You damn sure don't know anything about the economy, all right, and inflation involved, all right? But the point is, I'm going on a tangent, Salakia. I'm going on a rant, tangent, Salakia. I'm going off topic. All right? The Lord's going to kill a lot of people that are in this spirit. All right? I know that they're Israelites. Okay? Just throwing that out there. So let's go back. All right? This is why you got to be humble. All right? And pray to the Lord that in wrath, all right, he remembers mercy. 3. The Most High came from Timam, and the Holy One from Mount Paran, Salah. His glory covered the heavens, right? His glory covered the heaven. That's talking about Yahushua and angels. Back to Revelation 1 and 7. Okay? I had other scriptures on deck. This is the spirit. Just throwing it out there. I had other scriptures on deck. I'm saying this humbly. Okay? I'm not tooting my own horn. I was going to bring out Psalm 104. Okay. And I wanted to bring out Matthew 24, which is the same precept that goes to Revelation 1 and 7. So, hey, this is the Spirit. His glory covered the heavens. Again, this is talking about the chariots, so-called UFOs. All right? Here's another article. Pilot reports silver canister, so-called UFO feet from his plane during creepy air traffic control call. Good luck with the aliens. Right, that's the air traffic control saying that there's a UFO by his plane. And they were mocking him, saying good luck with the aliens, all right? They're, basically in a mocking spirit, all right? And we know these are not aliens. These are angels, all right? This happened in Rhode Island about a week ago, okay? Or less than a week ago, excuse me, all right? And the earth was full of his praise. 4, and his brightness, this is the point, and his brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hands. Right, so now let's go into this word horns. Okay? The word horn is quaran, which means horn, strength. Okay? This is where his power is at. Okay? We'll get to the point of rays of light, as those are those laser beams. All right? This is Habakkuk, an Israelite prophet, all right, writing the words of that time, basically describing what he saw in the words of that time, all right? And he had horns, meaning the laser beams coming out of his hand, all right? And there was hiding of his power. There it is, the power, okay? 5, before him went the pestilence, and burning coals went forth at his feet. 6, he stood and measured the earth, and behold, he drove asunder the nations, and the everlasting mountains were scattered. The perpetual hills did bow. His ways are everlasting. NLT version. When he stops, the earth shakes. When he looks, the nations tremble. He shatters the everlasting mountains and levels the eternal hills. He is the eternal one, right? So this is talking about, all right, the Lord bringing destruction, okay? And mountains represent government. So the Lord is going to come, all right, destroy these governments along with these military personnel, okay, and these civilians. It's a fact, all right? This is facts. This is truth. 2nd Esdras chapter 13, continuing on with verse 4 again. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it fleeth the fire. 5, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the 4 winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Right. This reminds me of the beasts shall go against the lamb in Revelation 17. Okay. I love this topic. This is the topic that I always meditate on. When Yahushua comes to judge these military personnel, all right, and really, really, all right, humbles these people that walk the earth down. Okay. Revelation 17 and 14. These, let's start at 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings. Right. This is talking about the European Union. All right. Formerly known as the European Economic Community. All right. The EU is part of NATO, which is the beast. Now, this is the same. John the Revelator is seeing the same vision that Daniel saw. Okay. Because Daniel, okay, prophesies about the 10 horns or the kings. Okay. So again, these are Israelites given a vision of the Messiah, all right, coming to destroy the beast, okay? And who rules the beast? These Edomites, okay? And then of course outside the beast, which is NATO and EU, which are the Edomites that run it, govern it, all right, use it to conquer, right? Also, all right, Yahushua and the angels are going to get these other heathens outside of these Edomites, okay? So no one is safe, okay? Yahushua is coming like Mikey, Freddy, Jason, Candyman, and all you're going to do is scream and howl and run for your life. All right, while your heart is pumping, all right, for fear, and there's nothing you can do to stop what's coming to you. Which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. Right, beast represents what? NATO and EU. Who rules, runs, governs NATO and EU? The so-called white man, Esau, Edom. Okay, 13. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. 14. These shall make war with the Lamb. You see? Who's the Lamb? Yahushua, who the world inly calls Jesus. And the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. Right. All right. And this is talking about the elect, because they're the ones that are going to be called and chosen because they were faithful from the beginning. They believed in these scriptures and they were waiting on Yahushua. They didn't change up the doctrine. All right. They stood their ground. Okay. And was faithful unto the end. All right. So this is that multitude. All right. So you got NATO and the EU, which is the beast. Okay. And then you got all the rest of these heathens too. You know, because China's gonna want to do something, Russia's gonna want to do something, but they're gonna get destroyed too. All right. All these heathens are going to get it. 6, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. Right, this is the spaceship. All right, so back to the beginning of this lesson. All right, when the scriptures say all eyes shall see him, it's a fact. Yahushua is coming in the fathership. Okay, behold, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. 7, but I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill, was graven, I could not write. So Esdras saw a large spaceship. All right. He used a comparison. He said this large spaceship was like a mountain. All right. It was a metaphor. All right. A simile. It was like as a mountain. All right. So, and what he was describing was, this spaceship was so big, he couldn't see the end of it. Okay. So that's why it makes sense in Revelation 1:7, all eyes shall see him. 8, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. Right. They were scared. Right. These military personnel with the Space Force and every let me show you something. How many countries have a space military program? Look at this. While over 70 countries have space programs, only few possess mature military space capabilities. Primarily the US, China, and Russia, with India also having anti-satellite test abilities. Many other nations like France, UK, the JJs, Japan, Germany, Italy have military satellite support systems, but rely heavily on US intelligence, focusing on observation, comms, or jamming rather than independent offensive space forces. There you go, right? But I mentioned, right, China and Russia, right? They're the ones. So, you got these idiot scoffers talking about, China or Russia will have next. No, they don't. And once America is judged, all right, China and Russia are going to be judged along with America in terms of losing their power. Okay? All right? And a lot of their cities are going to be destroyed. When the Lord is going to judge all nations under the heaven. That's why it says in Isaiah chapter 26 and 21, it says, for behold, the Lord, this is lesson within lessons within lessons. Isaiah chapter 26 verse 20. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, right? This is the elect, all right, who the Lord showed mercy to, delivering them from the impending doom, from the judgment. And shut thy doors about thee, Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed. Right, because the Lord, all right, is judging, okay, with the nukes as long with the chariots, so-called UFOs. 21, for behold, the Lord Yahweh cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood and shall no more cover her slain. Right, so the point is, all right, when Yahweh Shai comes under the commandment of his father Yahweh, all right, because Yahweh's not getting off his chair, his throne. It's his son, Yahweh Shai, that's sitting on his right hand. He's getting off, all right, the throne, sitting on the right hand to judge, to come to this earth to judge along with the angels, okay? Cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. You see that? So China, Russia, India, okay, Pakistan, Australia, all right, Nigeria, okay, the whole continent of Africa, the whole continent of South America, all right. There's no escaping, all right. The angels have been watching everybody's actions, behavior, and now it's time for judgment. The whole earth is about to be judged by the Lord. Facts. There's no escaping, all right? This ain't a movie where they escape the killer. No. All right? And the Lord's killing in righteousness, all right? Because you got a lot of clowns saying, well, doesn't the Bible say thou shalt not kill? That's talking about a fellow Israelite. You're not supposed to kill a fellow Israelite, okay? That's not talking about the Messiah and the angels, all right? If you're wicked, you get put down. Back to 2nd Esdras, chapter 13, verse 8 again. After this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, yet there's fight. Right, the Lord's going to put the spirit on them, all right, to fight him, to show his power, his glory. 9, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. 10, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Right, same thing in Habakkuk chapter 3, what I brought out, okay? It's the same vision. Esdras, an Israelite, saw the end times of when Yahweh Shai, okay, and well, in this chapter, it's the glory is going to Yahweh Shai, all right, but Yahweh Shai, well, it does say he strong with thousands of heaven, so it's talking about the angels too, all right, but you're seeing that from Yahweh Shai's spaceship, all right, he is destroying with the laser beams. Same thing in Habakkuk chapter 3. Same thing in Revelation 1 and 7. When you go to well, it means to cut off. Okay? Ten, but only I read this already. 11, and they were all mixed together, the blessed of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude, which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Right. So Esdras saw, all right, the Lord's judgment on these nations' military personnel, okay? In this context, all right? And then he also saw the deliverance. 12, afterward saw I the same man come down from the mountain and call unto him another peaceable multitude. Right, it's talking about the elect, all right, being delivered. All right. This reminds me of Revelation 11, right? Because doesn't Revelation 11, when the Lord calls up, all right, his elect, Yup, Revelation 11 and 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. Right. All right. Who got ascended up into heaven? That peaceable multitude, which are Israelites of the elect. Okay? They're the only ones being delivered. So there you go. So yeah. So Revelation 1 and 7, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. Right, those two Roman soldiers, which proves reincarnation is biblical. All right. That means they're walking the earth today. You know, I have my own opinion. They're either in the Secret Service or they are the bodyguards to the elite. All right, and they're in those bunkers. Okay, along with the international banking elite. All right, that are waiting to be put in chains. And all kingdoms of earth shall well because of him, even so, amen. Right. So, you know, this I just wanted to go into the topic of UFO. You know, the spirit jumped on me, so to go into it, and yeah, you know, the topic of the so-called UFOs, which are chariots. This is a major prophecy. All right, and this is what we're waiting on. We're waiting on, okay, the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. Okay, we're waiting on the nuclear destruction, and part of the destruction is Yahweh Shai coming, okay, himself, all right, to bring fire, as well as to deliver the elect, which he showed mercy to. Okay, so with that, I want to give all praise and all glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who grew well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And citation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai's sake. Love you, brothers. Keep enduring, keep the faith, keep pushing, keep fighting, keep studying. Pray without ceasing. Pray for each other. Pray for the apostle elders. We're almost out of here. For the futures that are watching, keep studying when you prepare to cover Shalom.